Craniosacral therapy is a gentle hands-on technique or therapeutic approach that is used to loosen abnormal tensions in membranes within the skull. In Mary Ellen's case, the origin of the whole problem was down in her left knee and ankle. And we had to trace it up through the fascial system to her pelvis and up to her spinal column and into her head and finally over into the right temporal column.
He was not ready to be touched. I brought him out of the water first. I had never felt a hug like that from him in 11 years.
I experienced firsthand the connection into a world beyond our imagination. Their eyes were magical, mesmerizing. Their movements were graceful and fascinating. Laying in that water, listening to their clicks, brought about a surreal feeling, as if I was in a whole other dimension. I had told no one I had broken my jaw. I was there for my son, not me. And yet the dolphin worked on my jaw.
And she has Rett syndrome, which occurs in 1 in 10,000 girls. Everything is normal until she was 18 months of age, and then she lost her ability to speak, and she started to lose her fine and her gross motor skills.
My name is Ricky Williams. I'm a retired NFL football player. Specifically, I'm starting to feel the effects of playing football. I'm starting to feel numbness and shooting down my left arm. Starting to feel a lot of compression. And I'm hoping just to release, the compression that I'm feeling in my head. And I was skeptical that the Dolphins would be interested enough to come up. As I got in and laid down, immediately there was a sense of peace as I relaxed, and I could hear the dolphins speaking, communicating, the dolphin noises that you see on television. I couldn't tell how far away they were, but I could tell that whatever they were doing was directed at me, because I could start to feel energy or intensity in my body increase. I could feel my liver starting to become more active. I could feel energy going up and down my spine more. What was interesting was when your body had releases, 100% of the time it was aligned when the dolphins were looking at you or touching you.
Dr. Upledger created a genius system. He helped all of us learn how to look at the human body in a different way. In osteopathic medicine, they look at the body as an integrated totality, and that truly is where he came from. But what he did additionally was help us to learn to listen to the message that each individual body carries, so that no two people are alike. And I like to say I have highly educated hands, and I'm a very good listener, and I happen to listen with my hands.
One of my best experiences with him was in a class where I was working on somebody, and he put his hand right on top of my hand. And all of a sudden I could feel some of what he was feeling. He blended with what I was feeling and then let me feel what he was feeling in the client. And he showed me what he was feeling in the client and what the client was showing him. And together, we were able to work. And so he developed basically cranial sacral therapy. His approach was, I can teach people some very simple techniques where a parent can help their child, or a massage therapist can help their client, or a PT can use in their practice, or a medical doctor can use.
Graham was born into this world in a very traumatic and difficult way. He was born at 35 weeks. My placenta abrupted, and we knew something was wrong right away. And soon after that, he began crying, and it was nonstop. We had about 4 straight years of crying and no sleeping, and I was desperately looking for anything that could help my son. And so we made multiple trips to the Bahamas. We went to see Dr. Upledger in his clinic in Florida, and incredible things happened. The dolphins taught me that crying is communication. So I learned to understand his cries. One was scared, one was just telling his story. And once he was able to tell his story and he was heard, it just stopped. It was magical. He just stopped crying.
And we were all probably experiencing the same thing. We felt this sonar, this vibration. Your whole body goes through just about every single cell of your body. I can't really describe it when the dolphins shoot that sonar. We were the orthopedic surgeon, and we've been going there for about 10 years for scoliosis. And doctors never usually like to use the word miracle, but he said, it's a miracle what you guys have done. And I don't know what you two are doing, but you keep doing what you're doing, because
He had early contact with dolphins in the Coast Guard and never forgot that. Dr. Upledger says when we go to see the dolphins, we should behave as though we're moving into their living room. We're moving into their world. Rather than imposing our ideas upon them, we should go be with them in a way in which we're open to whatever information exchange may happen, whatever needs to happen here. What is our intention? And we say that we are with dolphins, and our intention is for free and willing interaction with dolphins, with intentions for healing.
I always tell people watching a cranial sacral therapy session is a little bit like watching a sailboat race. If you're on the shore and you see the boat out on the distance, it may not look like much is going on. But if you're on the boat, you got to feel the waves and the wind and the rocking and all the different things. And that's what it's like for a patient who is very in tune with their body. They can feel some of those subtle changes, as it relaxes in the body. And for the therapist who's feeling for the response to their touch.
What's interesting about, I think, craniosacral therapy is it really gets down to what we sometimes call the core of the human organism.
The craniosacral system is made up of the meninges, or the membranes that go around the brain and the spine, and actually go through it, transverse it as well. And so basically that is what affects your whole body. So if there's wrinkles, so to speak, in that, then it can create little glitches along the way. And so if we can help iron out or smooth out those wrinkles so that all the body fluids, all the nerves work better, the cerebrospinal fluid works better, then we can help create a lot of change for the body.
To someone who's not familiar with touch, that may sound kind of, woo to some people. They might not quite understand how that would work. I used to be one of those people myself.
I used to be very much more analytical and science-based, but there were profound life changes.
With the cranial work, you're really working with them to heal themselves, which is something that we don't really talk about in mainstream circles.
We are listening to their bodies and letting their bodies tell us what they need and honoring who they are and where they're at.
The body has many forms of what we call body wisdom. Your heart has heart wisdom, you might say, or it has a certain knowing that happens with people will even say, I know with my heart. Some people will say, I have a gut reaction, I know with my gut. So we use this system as something that directs us. And Dr. Upledger once said that he finds the inner physician of a person within the craniosacral system.
Dr. Upledger was of the mindset that he could see so much change happening, and he actually termed or coined the phrase craniosacral therapy. But at the time, he didn't think he needed a trademark, and now other people are using it because it works.
The first time I met Dr. John was at a craniosacral class at the Upledger Institute. I was very excited to meet him because even though I'd only had a little bit of the work and a few classes, I knew that he was the heart and soul of the Institute.
He put his hands on you, and he was so good at blending and melding that it's like his hand could feel like it was clearing your body and it was non-invasive.
I think everybody remembers his hands. He had big hands, he had thick fingers, but he had gentle hands.
And when we teach people hand placement, we'd have to say, you have to look at your own hand size, because he had these big fingers that were genetically modified for this work. We jokingly say because they were so large.
Actually, when I first met him, first took courses, students exposed to more information in 2 4-day courses than I had been able to gain in 10 years. And his approach was, I can teach people some very simple techniques that were learned, which actually came from cranial osteopathy, where a parent can help their child, or a massage therapist can help their client, or a PT can use in their practice, or a medical doctor can use.
Using craniosacral therapy, what I principally worked on is using Dr. Upledger's model of tuning into Azaria and blending with her in what we call her inner wisdom or her inner physician to see where she guides me. And so it's not always about the seizure. Sometimes there's other issues that her body guides me to want to be worked on. She's had a lot of issues with her spine through the years, and so wanting to have her spine released. Some issues with her neck and her mouth, and wanting to have that released.
Her left side, due to brain abnormalities, is contracted. And immediately when she has craniosacral, it becomes much more relaxed. It doesn't ever completely open, but you can see that she's making a connection with this side of her body. She was at a point of her life where she was having the most seizures that she's ever had in her life.
She's having hundreds a day.
Upwards, to hundreds of seizures a day. We brought her here, and after her second day of treatment in the water with one of the dolphins, she started having a seizure, and the dolphin came up and stopped it. I mean, it stopped.
A dolphin came up and pressed herself against Azaria's spine and sent, I guess, her echo wave, or whatever you call it, and that grand mal seizure just went, phew.
溫馨美妙，多動人尋夢跳，傾 出光輝歲月，翻起了生命浪潮，然後熱刺鬥志，彷彿勁草於急風，盡興於風中蹦蹦跳。願你我珍惜一分一秒。
也許未來遙遠在光年之外，我願守候未知裡，為你等待。我沒想到為你我能瘋狂到山盟海誓，沒有你根本不想逃。我的大腦為你已經瘋狂到脈搏心跳，沒有你根本不重要。你說會在我胸口的臂彎足夠抵擋眼神逆轉，一種執迷不放手的倔強，足以點燃所有希望。宇宙幫我冷漠，我們的愛微笑着閃爍，點破卻如此無果。緣分讓我們相遇了是意外，命運卻要我們為終相愛。感受停在發端的指尖，入味瞬間，凍結時間，記着望着我堅定的雙眼，也許已經沒有明天。面對浩瀚的星海，我們微笑得像塵埃，漂浮在一片無奈。緣分讓我們相遇了是意外，命運卻要我們為終相愛。也許未來遙遠在光年之外，我願守候未知裡，為你等待。我沒想到為你我能瘋狂到山盟海誓，沒有你根本不想逃。我的大腦為你已經瘋狂到脈搏心跳，沒有你根本不重要。也許航道以外是幸福。